Hi, hello everyone. This is PK again from with a new topic. In the previous tutorial, we learned about dynamic filter by using VBA. In this tutorial, the same concept we are going to learn with Power Query. Here, what is the difference between doing the dynamic filter with VBA and dynamic filter with Power Query? In VBA, we have written a piece of code or program in order to do dynamic filtering. Whereas here, we need not to write any program. Just by applying some steps, we can just achieve that. Let me show you how we can do dynamic filtering in Power Query. So there are a couple of steps in order to do dynamic filter in Power Query. So in this example, if you see, I have two sheets. Sheet 1 is my data set, major common data set, and sheet 2, that is criteria, is my filtering criteria, like what all the serial numbers I wanted to filter from the major data set. Now, so what is the first step? In this approach, you have to keep one thing. First thing is your criteria has to be converted into a list, and from the list we can by using that list we can filter the specific data from the major set. So the first step is your criteria has to be converted into list in Power Query. How can we do that? So first you select your criteria, just select your criteria sheet, and in your criteria sheet, keep your cursor on your starting of the data. After that, go to data from table. The moment you click from table, your data will be loaded into Power Query editor as a table. But I already told you this criteria list has to be converted into as a list. So how we are going to do that? Just keep your cursor in the serial number, right click, and then there is an option called drill down. So click on that drill down. So here you can see this is actually converted into a list, and the name of list is table 9. Let me repeat this step. When you load this is actually a table, but in order to do dynamic filters by using list concept, this table has to be converted as a list. So for that, just select your column, right click, and click on this drill down. So now your list is converted, your table is converted into list, and the name of the list is table 9. This is actually the first step of this dynamic filter. Now, so this is my filtering criteria, and now I have to load my major data set from where I wanted to filter. So that is there in my data sheet. So this is also has to be loaded into Power Query in order to do filtering. So just as usual, keep your cursor on A1 and go to data and from table. So once you do that, your data is actually loaded into this Power Query editor. Now what is next? I wanted to filter something from the serial number. So I want to filter something from this serial number, not all, whatever I had given in the list. How we are going to do that? So for that, just click on the filter. When you click filter, this step will be appeared in your formula bar, and from here we are going to apply instead of each true. Each true means it takes all the value, but I don't want all the value. I want the value which is there in the list. So for that, whatever the list containing, that is list name is table 9. Whatever this table 9 is containing, the serial number, all those values I wanted to filter in this table 10. And make sure that in your table 9 as well as table 9, the filtering column as well as the criteria column in list, both should be the same name and same data type. And now enter, your data are filtered. So let me save this and show you how these data are filtered. Right? So these data are actually filtered. Once again, I don't want this thing, so I'm just deleting this. Before I delete, I'm going to load this as a connection. So now I don't want this, so I'm just deleting this. And for this data, this sheet, I'm just renaming as filter data. Right? So now my criteria is 2, 6, 9, 21, 34, 23, 8. Out of this, whatever the values are matched in this sheet. In this sheet, if you see, we have only 10 numbers. So criteria, I have more than 10 as well. So whichever the, see, if you see below 10, I have only 4 values, 2, 6, 8, 9. So the 2, 6, 8, 9 is filtered over here. Right? Now, let me remove some criteria. So what I'm going to do is, instead of 12, I'm going to give 23. And now what I have to do is, I change my criteria. Do I need to go to Power Query and do something or do the changes again and again manually? Not required. So how can we do that? So click on this sheet and your data, just press refresh all. Now if you see, the values are filtered based on the criteria you had given in this year list.